Okay, this week we will be working with Venn diagrams. We all know what Venn diagrams look like. There are a couple of circles that overlap, and then there's some data that's inside of them. In this case, we have people who are taking math and people who are taking science. All right, and so we're going to ask some questions about the Venn diagram. For example, how many people are taking math? Well, looking at the Venn diagram, we have a few choices. We have a 12 and a 7. The question is how many people are taking math? If you notice, the math is actually the whole circle. All right, so if we're asking how many are taking math, that's actually 19. What about students that are only taking math and not science? So not science. Just 12. How about science and math? Well, this one's a little tricky. I'm going to put two questions up at the same time. You have a math and science and a math or science. And so that's the main focus for today, is figuring out what the and the or means. The and means that the student is taking both classes at the same time. That's what and means. So it turns out that 7 students are taking both math and science at the same time. Now we have or then. Or is just any student who's taking math or science. So a student that's taking math or science, any of those. Turns out that this whole group would be math or science. 12 plus 7 plus 10, that gives us 29. All right, so please know the difference between the and the or. It's kind of important. Only science, so if we look at just only science, not math, we have 10. How about a student that's taking neither math nor science? Now, a lot of people don't see it, but there's a 4 out here. Those are the ones that are not taking math or science. And then let's throw some probability in there. If I were to choose from this whole group, what's the probability that I choose a person who's just taking math? Well, here's a person who's just taking math. Just math, no science. So that's 12. But now we're looking for probability. Remember, probability is what you want over the total. So the total population, including these 4 out here, is 33. 33. So if we're looking for math, or just math, it'll be 12 students out of the 33 total. And if you punch it into your calculator, that's about 36%. All right. Of course, that was a much smaller, more typical Venn diagram, but we have different Venn diagrams. Like this one has 3 overlapping circles, which makes it a little bit more complicated to figure out. Now we have math, and we have science, and English. All right, and so let's figure some things out. What's the probability of a student taking math? Again, math is this whole circle. So we actually have to add all of those together. Turns out to be 11. And then just math is none of these guys. 6. Here we have the math and science, and then the math or science again. These are important. Remember, and means that they're taking it at the same time. So they're taking both, where the math and the science overlap. And it turns out math and science overlaps right here. 3. Now, who's taking math or science? So it doesn't have to be the same time. It's math or science, either one. And so here's math, here's science, here's all the students that are taking math or science. So all of those together. It turns out that there's about 25 students. If I did that correctly. How about only English? Only English? No math, no science? 12. How about students that are not taking English? Not taking English. Well, here's the whole English circle. So not taking them would mean that we have these guys. $26, not English. Although that doesn't look like it adds up to 26. How much does that add up to? That is 11, 20, it's only 22. Fix that. Non-English. How about English and math, but no science? We have an and. English and math. So these two, and means where they overlap, but no science. A 2. And our last example, at least 2 classes. So if we look at the Venn diagram, at least 2 classes means 2 classes or more. If you analyze it, at least 2 classes is actually here, 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 and then here. At least 2 classes or more. This would be the or more part. All right, so all of those together make 10. Here's our last present for today. It's just talking about symbols and what the symbols mean. When I talk about everything, like the or, that's called a union. And the symbol for union is a giant U like this. When I'm doing and, I'm just looking for where they overlap. And their symbol is an upside down U, and that's called the intersection. And then the last one was everything, but not what they share. And that's called the difference. And that's the symbol. But we didn't do a lot of those examples. All right, so those are all the symbols for the Venn diagrams. Okay, that's all we have for today.